Is it a good end? Is it a bad end? Do you even care about the end? Titans season 2 finale. Woo! Late LK at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of On Screen. We are here. That is right. We are doing our thing late night live, talking about Titans. And how you feeling? Before we get started, big shout out to Dave Farrar of Geek Fine Art for the artist sponsored wall behind me. Awesome stuff on Instagram, Geek Fine Art. Check him out. Once again, I ask, how are you? You know what? I think that's the best way. How do you feel about this season as a whole? Because you know how I was feeling with the last episode, and I promise you, I know I'm not here to bash things. I don't bash stuff. So I'm gonna be short and sweet. I'm gonna try to be short and sweet. This season is strangely disappointing. I believe this season has or had all of the ingredients it needed to be dope, but somehow missed the mark. You know what I'm saying? Like somehow missed it. Somehow didn't reach it. I'm going to get into, of course, the finale first, and then I'll talk about the season as a whole. But big shout out to you for coming through, checking it out, all that stuff. See some people in the chat already watching. Thank you for coming through. Going to give me a shout out. Let me know what you're thinking about this episode, about this season as a whole, and we'll get into that right about Nizow. Missed opportunities. Disappointing, unfortunate ends for many characters. I'm going to jump into this and say Dawn should have died instead of Donna. I'll keep saying this until the cows come home. I don't care about Dawn and Hank. I don't. They're cool, like I said, as characters that help provide history and context to the team that was before. I'm down with that. I'm like, cool, there was a team once before, and this is, two of the members, and they got history with Dick and stuff like that. That's cool. But I don't need to see full episodes about them. I don't care about their backstory. I'm not interested in their love life. I'm not interested. None of that. And this season spent a lot of time they really spent a lot of time on Hank and Dawn. I think the writers thought that Hank and Dawn were going to be like something, I guess. And I ain't feeling them. I don't see my timeline full of folks that's like, yeah, I'm so glad Hawk and Dove was on this. But maybe, let me know. Let me know. Maybe you in a circle and you like, everybody's like, yo, they feeling Hank and Dawn. You know what I'm saying? They like, yo, these my favorite episodes. Donna, I think it's because the way she died was corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, Superboy could have stepped in. She could have been able to withstand the force of the electricity or something. Like, it just seemed corny to me, especially after Dawn does nothing, absolutely nothing, almost this whole series, besides beat up some kids in a meth lab or something. Dawn does almost nothing except give a little kid her little baby doll, like, oh, here, this is what I can do because I can't really contribute anything else because I suck. And see, I told you I'm gonna try to keep this because when you don't like something, you start nitpicking, and I don't want to go there. My issue with Dawn and Hank is that they are not the focal point of this show, and they're trying to make them the focal point of this show without actually having the gravitas or the, from my perspective, the audience interest that they need to lead this show. Full episodes should go to Dick. Full episodes should go to Ravens. Full episodes should go to Star. Full episodes should go to Gar. We realized that Garfield was being tortured and experimented on, all while we're following around Hank and Dawn. What? So that's the important part of the story? So one of my biggest issues with this episode is that Donna died instead of Dawn. Another big issue with this episode is the short-lived and lackluster ending with Deathstroke. I would prefer Deathstroke to have survived, but if he had to die, it seemed, one, shout out to the choreography that we did see. That choreography was flavor. Like the choreography Deathstroke had with Starfire and with Dick Grayson in the show earlier, and then also here with Dick Grayson and Rose was fire. But I don't feel like there was enough on the line for him to die right this moment. It just seemed like they were trying to get it out of the way so they could do the rest of the story. And this is a beef that's been going on for years, that I feel deserved a little more time, a little more emotion. And it just seemed weightless to me, you know? And which is weird because there was so much on the line earlier in the season. And now it just seemed like, hurry up, let's reveal the Nightwing suit and have him talk to, and let's just get it done. Let's just get it done because we have so many things that we're trying to either wrap up or reveal before the end of this episode. Let's just get out the way. When Deathstroke was the weight, the linchpin of this whole season. And now we're just getting out of the way so that we can go to Cadmus. But we wouldn't have had to do that if we didn't spend like 2/3 episodes sort of on characters that weren't necessary. You could have condensed a lot of stuff with Hank and Dawn or just not had them. Trying to make them a thing is just like, stop trying to make fetch happen. Just stop. Also, I think in doing that, in this episode, we discounted the time that we should have spent with Gar and Connor. So what we get is it's quick phase 2. We did all this stuff like phase 2 is a big deal. And then we get this phase 2 that's like, let's hurry up and get through it because we got to show the team together. We mismanaged our time in pacing this season. I would have loved to see Connor in his mind battling, through the mental issue, the mental control stuff that Mercy was doing. We saw it with Gar. We didn't see it with Connor. I would have liked to see a little more from Mercy in Cadmus when dealing with both of them. We saw like a little bit. We saw some of Gar and like none of Connor. And then when we do see Connor, it's real quick to be like, oh, watch how he's faster than a speeding bullet. And then he can throw a bullet in your head. It seems like they were just trying to wrap things up. Like, let's just go and get it done. Let's finish this, and we're out. This season finale, it seems like there's another episode after this. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. I feel short. Yeah, this feels like we were shortchanged, in a bad way, and it shouldn't be that way. The season finale should be satisfying, and maybe we needed a longer season finale. We wouldn't have needed a longer season finale if we would have gotten to the point with a lot of stuff. If we would have left out Hank and Dawn, which after they split and everybody left, we didn't need to see Hank and Dawn anymore. We spent time watching them. I'm trying not to jump on this too much because I don't want to be the show that I don't want to be the guy that's just bashing the show for the sake of bashing the show. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't help anybody. You know what I'm saying? Hank and Dawn shouldn't have been there that long. Gar and Connor didn't get the time that we needed to see them struggling through the mind control in phase one, basically. Starfire was extremely shortchanged this whole season. And of course, and with that being said, so was Raven. At the end, we finally get this revelation. Oh, I think I can use my powers and stuff. And of course, we see Bruce Wayne, which was masterfully played. I love how the Bruce Wayne part came in, where he's like in the back cave, like, oh, by the way, let me go and shut this down real quick. That was great. So there are great moments throughout this season, but I feel like they were thrown together in the wrong way. They were paced poorly. And we end up getting a season that I'm underwhelmed by when Deathstroke, the guy that plays Deathstroke, the fight choreography, all of that was right. All of that was on point. Jason Todd and Rose, I wasn't mad at that. I was actually like, you know what? I see where these two broken people are having their issues. And actually, they should have had more time than Hank and Dawn did. At least these are two current-ish members. But the stuff that really, really just blows my mind is that the core members of this team seem to have been shortchanged in service of trying to give us old members that we didn't buy into. And what I mean by that is when season one started, it was about Raven, Star, Dick, Gar. That was it. That was the team. That's what you sold us on. And that's how we kind of grew to know these characters. And we saw Dawn, and we saw Hank, and we saw Donna, but it was definitely about these four and what these four are going through. And then in season two, it seems like you shortchanged them. And they're not even on the show like in an important, interesting way. I don't know. I feel the ingredients are there, but it didn't come together well for me. And it ended up being a show that I don't know if I'm gonna follow if it does return. Season one really impressed me, got into its groove and really held it down. And season two had what it needed and somehow just didn't nail it. The jail stuff with Dick took too long. Or maybe it was too late in the game because we spent so much time with Hank and Dawn. And if we would have done it earlier, or he could have experienced his purgatory in another way. It just doesn't work when I look at it as a whole. And then the stuff with Star that could be cool gets tacked on as like this, oh, by the way, don't forget about Blackfire. You know, she could be the villain next season. I'm like, bruh, like, yo, I don't care. You want to know why? Because you could have gave me the time and the emotion, or gave me the time to build the emotion for this character. But when you had a chance to, you dropped it, and we got back to Hank and Dawn. You know what I'm saying? This is something that should have been going on since at least episode 3 or 4, or episode 2 maybe, with her referring to what's going on. Hank and Dawn wouldn't have been there. We could have spent more time with that. Could have spent more time with Raven and her powers and how they're changing and how they're evolving. But instead, we just get, a quick scene with her and the other girl's dad. Gargoyle kills the dude. It almost seemed like we were rushing the main characters of this show so that we could serve, Hank and Dawn, so that we could serve Cadmus, so that we serve these things. And we serve, for instance, with Cadmus, we serve Cadmus, but then we don't really get into Cadmus. We get one full episode of Cadmus when we're talking about Connor, but then after that, Cadmus just disappears to a certain degree. We know that they keep sending out Gar, but we don't see Connor struggling with anything. And then at the end, all of a sudden, we're in his mind, and he's like, I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to find the light. It's like, well, it would be nice to have seen him struggling with trying to find the light or the light dimming on him. That would have been cool, but we never got that. I don't know where to go with this show this season. I don't know if I'm feeling it. It's weird. It's not that it's a bad season. It's just, I don't know. It's just there because it had what it needed, but it fell flat for me in many ways. So I'm not here to bash. I'm not gonna go any further. You guys kind of know my issues with the show. Deathstroke, the actor for Deathstroke was straight. Moms was straight. Jericho was straight. Rose was straight. Most of this show, the actors came through and did what they were supposed to do, and the actors for Hank and Dawn are just fine. It's it's the time that they're given on the show. Like it should have been done. Like after everybody split, that should have been it with Hank and Dawn. And then we would have been able to give time to Cadmus, give that time to Gar, Connor, give that time to Raven, Star. And because it's almost, when you look back at the season and where the time has been allotted, now you want us to care about Blackfire all out of the blue. I'm like, dude, Blackfire was dope, but like I don't know. I don't know if I'm hanging around next season. We'll see. This season was cool-ish, but at the end, I feel like this season ends up around a C minus. Like it had some dope ingredients, but I don't know. It's like one of them things where you got all the right ingredients, but you use too much salt or too much pepper or not enough of this or whatever, or messed up the cilantro or something, or something ain't right in this season, and I wasn't feeling it the way I should have felt it when I came out of season one. I came out of season one pumped for what's next. I'm coming out of season two like, I guess I'll watch season three. And that's not how you want someone to be. Now, of course, holler at me. I'm gonna holler at you. Down in them comments, let's talk Titans. I want to know how you feel. Maybe I'm bugging, but I was not. I mean, I've been saying this since about 7 or 8, where I was like, they're dragging their feet, they're giving us fillers, and I don't like it. So what? 8 to 13? What's that? 5 episodes? 7 episodes? 6? Whatever. 13 minus 8 is. I don't know. 5 something. 5, 6 something like that. Whatever it is. Bottom line is, they've been filling us for like 5, 6 episodes, and they didn't have to. The guys, like I said, holler at me. We'll talk about, get it on in the comments about Titans. Are you going to stick around for season 3? Did you love season 2? If you did, what did you love about season 2? What has you on a high? If you're on a low coming out of season 2, what has you on a low? Now, before I get out of here, of course, don't forget NERDSoul. We got brand new shirts at shop.thatnerdsoul.com. Got the Cocoa NERDSoul shirt right here. We got Milestone, X-Men, all kinds of stuff. You can check it out. Also, behind me, you can check out, of course, Geek Fine Art. Dave Farrar right there doing his thing. Big shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. Big shout out to y'all. Like Thought Crimes, Tim I, Enrique Carrion. You guys are extremely dope. Day one cats that really, really hold it down. But of course, until I see you next time, if you're sticking around later for Late Night Live, we will be talking about Mandalorian in just a little bit. But of course, for our bounce, it's just me to you and saying, peace. Oh boy. Titans. Whew. I remember back in season 1, Season 1, I was feeling good. I was like, man, this show is going places. I remember the first episode, I was like, this is whack. And then after that, I was like, this show is kind of going places. I got episode 2, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll see where you at. And then episode 3, I was like, all right, I'm in. And then season finale, I left on a high. We came into season 2, I was feeling good. And then somewhere around episode 4, something, I was like, hold up, something ain't feeling right. Oh boy. Anyway, you know what to do. See you later.